Previously on, will it make it to Area 51? Being a maniacal engineer, I could make him radio control. So, at the end of the last video, actually two of me, unveiled that I'd built a tank track conversion to solve the problem of me getting stuck in snow, and that I was now fitting this tank track conversion to allow me to drive a 100-mile long trail at 11,000 feet in a danger-to-life snowstorm. And that journey is coming right up. But first, I should probably explain how this engineering monstrosity came to be at the start of this trail. And long-time viewers of this channel know that in order to explain that, we're going to need an epic 80s super Contenders ready! In the blue corner, Ed March and Willie the upgraded mini Jeep. Fan favourite Nate Gold from Fox Fab Laser and Machine. Special guests, two snowmobiles that Ed bought off Facebook Marketplace, but only filmed taking the tracks off one of them, so here's the same shot mirrored. Versus, how the hell do you build a tank? Fight! So I'd removed the tracks from the two snowmobiles, but without a frame to hold them up, they were still too floppy for Willie. Insert childish joke as appropriate. So to make a frame to stiffen them up, Nate took the measurements of the 3 points the snowmobile tracks made contact with the aluminium snowmobile chassis, and then set about replicating those 3 points in a nice compact steel frame. And while Nate did that, I did some science. You see, where I was going, the snow would be over 10 feet deep, and I reckoned that snow would act kind of like water, and that meant we needed the centre of the tracks to be in line with the centre of gravity of the mini Jeep, so we wouldn't tip forwards or backwards in the snow. And to find that centre of gravity, you use my good old balance on a piece of wood on a trolley jack and see where it stops wobbling trick, which I'm very good at by now. But I persevered, got the centre of gravity, science. So with my science complete and Nate's temporary fabrication complete, we lined up the drive shaft of the track unit with the drive shaft of the mini Jeep, and we discovered that put the centre of the track perfectly in line with the centre of the mini Jeep. And I'm going to pretend that I planned that all along, because it's not as if there's a piece of voiceover that says it was all just a happy coincidence. Oh, bollocks. Next problem, how do you transmit the power from the mini Jeep to the track unit? Because there's not exactly anyone else's design to copy. Nobody's ever done this before. Hopefully not for a good reason. So we decided to employ the tried and tested method of sitting down and bouncing every idea we can think of off of each other in the hopes we'd find a solution. So, options are solid shaft that just joins them.
But
yeah, which
I'm thinking there would be some sort of universal joint between the two of them. And then you just have to reach in with a wrench to tighten those down. Makes you super wide. I just bunked it lightly with my fist. I'm gonna have to go grab that bearing flow to get that off.
One universal joint is not constant velocity, so as the track will constantly speed up and slow down.
Yeah, that's a quick way to wear something out.
Yeah, so you need two universal joints in phase. Okay, this is dragging on a bit. I'll try and edit it in a different way and speed things up a bit, but still cover all the important points.
I'm thinking there would be some sort of butt shaft in here.
Yeah, shaft. Solid shaft.
Solid shaft.
If it's massive and it's for a butt, the shaft, solid shaft.
Butt flange
shaft.
10 inches long. But
uh-oh, this isn't what we said at all. Nate's gonna kill me.
Reach in with my fist, makes you super wide.
Whoops. So we'd worked out a plan. Nate laser cut out these adapter plates that go on the track's drive shafts, and he cut the splines on them so good it made me make an impressed noise.
We can throw a second guy on there for spacing, fit right in there beautifully.
And he put 4 holes in the plates to line up with this absolutely bomb-proof double universal joint from a Ford pickup truck that's meant to take 400 horsepower.
We'll have a disc welded onto here that matches that wheel pattern. Easy peasy.
Nice. Good work.
Hopefully.
If I knew how to drive that laser, it'd just be all penises.
Not yet.
You are professional. So with that, we'd solved how the track units were getting driven by the mini Jeep. And that also meant we now knew exactly where the tracks had to sit relative to the mini Jeep, so we set about building a frame that would hold them there. And for that, all you've got to do is take this flimsy temporary metalwork that Nate's made and turn it into sturdy permanent metalwork. Nate set about designing it on the whiteboard, and I helped.
Can we make it look more like a penis?
It's unintentional.
So Nate very quickly made the strong versions of the track frames, and that allowed us to put some box section steel between them and rest the Mini Jeep on top and see what the suspension was like. But after doing some more science, we discovered that the suspension was way too soft.
Is there any more suspension travel left in that?
Most expensive rocking horse ever.
Well, this was really starting to stump us, and it was 1:51 in the morning, so we decided to sleep on it. And when I woke up, I remembered that I know things.
Alright, I have excellent news, sir.
Okay, what do you got?
Based on my extensive knowledge that's totally stored within my own brain and not this YouTube video, this rear suspension's adjustable.
Ooh,
You rotate these plastic thingies, and we're on number 1, which is the softest.
nice.
So we can go to number 5, which is 4 better.
So we put the maximum preload on both sets of springs, and we discovered that actually, they might just be stiff enough to take all the weight.
Oh yeah, that doesn't move at all.
And so now the final step is to join the track units to the Jeep. Nate had already finalised these box section cradles that were going to be welded to the track frames, and in those cradles were going to be some super heavy duty box section, or box, that would span the width of the vehicle and join everything together. But for the moment, Nate was still prototyping in fake box section made out of disposable sheet steel.
There we go. Now I'm not ripping my box apart.
That's what she said.
That'll sit in there.
Well, Nate's cheap prototype outriggers had worked, so now it was time to commit to the expensive steel on everyone's favourite machine. And if you'd like to help me buy replacement GoPro lenses, links are in the description.
Got me twice!
That really hurt. That really hurt.
Really?
Who throws a shoe?
So with the outriggers made, it was time to fit them, and for me to apparently take the final steps into madness. As Nate jacked up the vehicle, he decided to tempt fate.
It's not going. It's not going.
And I'm trying my best to make sure I don't sing. Then we used hammers to fit everything in. SpongeBob SquarePants! Oh my god, this is worse than before. I can't stop singing. So sing in the way the fans seem to adore. Okay. Now we'd tested the framework. Nate welded it together. Then we lifted the body off, and the progress of the build impressed me in the manly way. Then Nate left me on my own. So I did some painting. Then I drove a forklift for the first time, which went better than expected. Then time for a test drive, but it started driving itself forwards and I forgot where the brakes were. But I proved that it worked. Now I proved to straight line it was time to test the steering, which nearly resulted in me careering into the forklift. And all in all, the conversion seemed perfect, which meant the 8 days of engineering was worth it.
It fucking works! Oh, that's cool as fuck. That's awesome.
And then Nate turned up. Time for a proper test drive.
Ready? That just works, doesn't it?
Yes, it did. Although it did decide it only wanted to go in straight lines, sending Nate comedically towards this building. But once we adjusted the brake levers so it could turn, it was damn near perfect. Time for a speed run. Oh, and I'd sorted the turning, well enough to nearly throw me off the side of it. But eventually I got the knack of it, and it proved itself to be quite the machine. and I was very happy with it. Well, until we fit the bodywork, maybe not all of me is happy.
Definitely need a seat. My anus is in a lot of pain. Melted my shoe. I don't think we should do too much more testing because I don't know how long it will last, so...
Well, you heard the man. We don't know how long this vehicle is going to last, so let's not wear it out doing safety and reliability testing. Instead, let's drive it back inside, take it apart, and then send it up a mountain where it will be my only transport to get me back to safety. Hang on, so we removed the track conversion, but before I could put the wheels back on, Nate made some wheel holders so I could take the wheels with me on the snow trail, and then convert back to wheels at the end of it. And look, wheel carriers that Nate had finally designed how I like things, with rocket ships to show how fast I was going to go. Right, enough of my immature sense of humour, time to load everything on the trailer and head off and start the adventure.
Okay, you just want to hit it hard?
Yeah, that's what she said. One day I might grow up, but I really hope I don't. It's much more fun being silly. And I like it when it rubs off on other people, like when Nate secretly made me this keychain.
You're not supposed to find that yet.
It's a mouse with a really long nose?
Yeah.
That's cool, thank you. I will treasure that. Well, I can't believe we got there. Thank you very much.
Keep in touch and we'll see you for the next project.
So with the build complete, it's time to resume the adventure. And the journey resumes on the muddy trail coming down from the mountain after I'd got stuck at the end of the last video. And things were currently a mix of good and bad. Bad because I never made the wheel arches bigger to match the new tyres, so I was getting plastered in mud. But good because as I took some hefty chunks of mud to the face, I actually made a manly noise for once.
This is
C90 Adventures. And while it seemed good that the trail dried out and I could go a bit faster, this revealed a bigger problem. Just had to get out of the mini Jeep first.
I'm stuck. Got back to the main road, but now it's stuck in four-wheel drive and diff lock, which means it won't go above 19 miles an hour without kangarooing.
And I really needed to work this out, because while being stuck at 19 mile an hour is annoying, if I have the front diff, which is made by Honda, locked, both front wheels turn at the same speed, and that means I have no tank steering. So, time to limp to the nearest town, and as luck would have it, there was a Honda dealership there.
Pretty sweet little rig you got there.
Thank you very much.
I saw you pass it. I'm like, dude, did you just see that?
What's that little guy we saw hauling ass down the road the other day?
Unfortunately, their expert mechanic wasn't in today, so while they tried to help, I was going to have to wait until tomorrow.
So when you press the switch, do you hear anything?
No,
Do you have a fuse box on this?
I do, and they're all fine.
And then someone else tried to help.
I've got a helper called Brady. Brady wants to be on YouTube. Brady is now on YouTube. Say hello to YouTube, Brady.
Hello, YouTube.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. And
The dealership very kindly let me take the mini Jeep into the workshop, but I couldn't work out what was going wrong, and eventually they had to close up for the night, so I left to return the next day. In the morning I came back to see the chief mechanic.
is your wizard in? I don't mind greasing palms with silver.
And this is where my fate would be decided. If he was a 100% corporate guy, he wouldn't want to help me with my Honda Mini Jeep Frankenstein's monstrosity. But if he was a dude that doesn't mind a challenge, maybe I'd be in luck and he'd help me. And 1 in a million he'd seen my YouTube videos. So, drum roll please.
Dude,
Hi.
it is super nice to meet you, man. I've been watching your channel for like, I don't know, a year or two.
Excellent news. This means I might not annoy you to within an inch of your life.
As soon as he started telling me the story, like I come in this morning, he's like, dude, this guy come by last night. He's got one of those little Willy Jeeps on one of the Foreman chassis, and I thought of you. And I'm like, I wonder if he upgraded from that goddamn go-kart.
Yeah, I've now got 32 horsepower. I did have four-wheel drive and diff lock. I've returned your Bible.
Oh, I was just gonna say, to do anything, we're gonna need this. You're a smart guy. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do that you can't do, man. Is that your mini Jeep out there?
Yes.
That is awesome.
I'm trying to get the Skyline Drive before the snow melts.
Okay.
We built a track conversion for this, and it's got 2 full-length snowmobile tracks that bolt on, and it's got tank steer, and that's what these are. It's also radio control. I was towing myself on the sled, like along the trails. I was like, if a park ranger comes around now, I don't even know how to
Dude,
explain.
I would die to be able doing what you're doing, man.
Get out there and do it.
I'll help you in any way I can, man.
Right, plan now is to go around the back and see if the Honda computer will tell me something that I don't already know.
So I drove it round from where it was sat in the sun.
I've got flashy. For the first time, it's telling me something's wrong.
And then over the course of about 2 hours of trying to fix it, in the nice warm workshop, it fixed itself.
Yeah, so now, when I flick that switch, it goes into four-wheel drive.
And Beaker worked out what the problem was.
Dude, you might have some moisture in there, just freezing up.
That would be the best problem in the world.
Yeah.
And then Beaker helped out even more. The tank track conversion was currently en route to being dropped off at the base of the mountain for me to assemble alone without a forklift, somehow. So, I said my goodbyes and thank yous to the owner of the dealership.
Well, thank you so much for everything.
You got it.
And everyone else in town.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, good luck on your journey.
Cheers.
And then Beaker invited me to stay at his place.
The fucking coolest thing I've seen in months. It's just meeting you, dude. It's life around here is slow, dude. Not much happens.
Well, I'm just me.
It's awesome.
And then we got the tank tracks delivered by my friend Jesse to Beaker's house instead of the mountain.
Do you have a delivery for me, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then Beaker was going to take me and the tank tracks to the mountain the following day and even help me assemble them, which was excellent news. But with the tracks now here, I was starting to get a bit worried about the journey ahead.
I am nervous about this.
But Jesse put my mind at rest.
Well, hopefully I don't hear about you on the news.
Or not.
But yeah, if it breaks, then fucking chaos. I'm 50-50 in my head as to whether it's going to work.
But at least I knew everything about the route ahead of me.
Are there any pretty steep climbs or?
I hope this works, because otherwise it is a long walk. He says ominously, cutting to this footage as he's walking. Well, thank you so much.
Best of luck to you. Stay out of the news.
Yeah.
But eventually it was time for Jesse to head home and for Beaker and I to get some sleep, ready for the carnage that was going to happen tomorrow.
So, annoying to thread into a story piece of footage 520. Beaker is taking me up to the mountains. Currently in a winter storm warning, so I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Wish me luck.
And I could have driven there in the mini Jeep and met Beaker there, but that seemed a bit daft, and he was actually taking me further away from Area 51 than I already was, so I don't count it as cheating. So he drove me into this car park, I accidentally filmed this cool transition, and then I went up the mountain as far as I could to film the music video at the end of the previous episode.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Which my camera gear loved. And it was quite fun because I got to do a lot of drifting. I nearly drove off the edge and made a stupid face. And then eventually, once I couldn't climb the mountain anymore,
Bollocks.
it was time to film the final part. Which, if you're wondering how it was done,
Bollocks! I'm never making it up this mountain. Can I help?
and yes, when filming things like this, I do often wonder if there's a hunter somewhere close by, watching me, wondering what the hell is going on. Because on the grand scheme of things, this will look pretty weird.
You're Ed March. Penis. Penis. Penis.
Penis.
Penis.
Penis.
Penis.
Penis.
One of those has got to work.
What can I say? I'm a very professional filmmaker. So with that shot in the bag, I drove back down the mountain with this giant finger chasing me, before finally getting back to the car park Beaker was waiting in, so we could put the tracks on. So without further ado, let's get building. And then the weather immediately started getting worse, so we had to build it as quickly as possible. But I did still have to film it, and abuse my cameras even further.
I'm so sorry, Sony. This is horrendous conditions. Am I fully in shot here?
I love how you're gonna do this. Like it's going together in my mind. I'm like, it's been very eye-opening for me to think of like, dude, just fucking do it.
It's one of the reasons I like travelling solo so much. Okay, it's going to take 3 hours to get all these shots, but in my mind I'm like, if I nail that music video, it's going to be worth it.
Oh yeah.
And the effort to film things correctly and set up the shots with multiple cameras does definitely pay off. For example, here is the wide shot, and here are my balls.
Nice.
But the build was going well, with Beaker helping, and me explaining the various parts of the conversion to him.
Do you like my rocket ship wheel holders?
Hell yeah.
It's a rocket ship, you see.
Oh.
But as I fitted the wheels, and the snow got worse,
That's the heavy, dense snow right there.
we encountered a big problem.
That track's actually touching the tire.
Yeah, this is the first time I'd put the wheels on with everything fully loaded, and they were now touching the tracks, which means I can't transport my wheels with me.
Yeah, that is touching, isn't it?
But if I can't take them with me, for the moment they've got to stay with Beaker, and then we'll somehow get them to the other end of the trail.
How much would you charge to deliver those tyres?
I don't know that I would even charge you, man. Put some gas in my truck, I'd be happy. The problem is finding when I can do it. What day are you planning on coming through?
I don't know!
So it's sorted. Getting them delivered to me at the other end of the trail would be a problem for future Ed to deal with. Problem solved? Well, there was a problem I could definitely solve. Extra fuel. You see, now I wasn't carrying my wheels, I could just move the wheel carriers to the front and hang my 2 extra fuel cans on them. And speaking of fuel, the trail is 100 miles long and I'm now carrying 12.5 US gallons. That means I need to do 8 miles per gallon to not get stuck in the middle of nowhere. Does a tracked mini Jeep do 8 miles per gallon?
I don't know!
This is bad. This is a stupid idea. There is no way I can ever pay you back.
I feel privileged to be a part of it. Okay, man, good luck, dude.
So with my goodbyes said to Beaker, I cleaned the snow off my seat, found where my ignition was,
Where's the key?
and headed off into a danger-to-life snowstorm on an unproven vehicle, alone.
Cheers, dude! Bye!
So here we go. Wish me luck. The snow was relentless, and had now completely camouflaged the bonnet against the ground. And this climb was relentless too. It didn't take long to answer the question, how much harder does an engine have to work to turn tracks instead of wheels? After just 1 mile of driving, the exhaust was already glowing red hot. I was now truly placing my hopes of success on Honda engine reliability. But I carried on up the mountain, following the glow of my headlights, while keeping an eye on the glow of my exhaust. And it was really starting to sink in what I'd set myself up for here. I make these videos because I like to inspire others to get out there and have adventures, but I can't in good conscience recommend you try this. Well, time to set up camp, which was going to be fun.
Everything's frozen. If everything stays above freezing, it's good. Or stays below freezing, it's good. It's when it alternates, is when everything gets wet and then freezes. I'm going to build my house, and my house is in here. Yeah. This snow is very deep. Here is my house. I shall now assemble my house.
No, I do not know why I am talking like that.
Can you stop being a bastard? Snow, luckily it's kind of wet, so it sort of packs down a bit.
But eventually I did assemble my house for the night,
Casa del Popsicle.
before scraping the ice off my gear and going inside. And once inside and out of the snow, I took off my helmet and put on the warm balaclava that Beaker gave me. And then put footage of how I looked on the internet, probably killing any chance of me having sex ever again.
Hello. I'm gonna try and take this gear off and keep all the snow out. I'm steaming quite a bit, so that's a good sign. I've got lots of chocolate, and hopefully that can keep the steam coming out of me and keep me warm. Wish me luck.
And with that, I went to bed, hoping to have pleasant dreams. And tonight, I hope you do too.
Good morning. I'm in a tent. I'm trying to put my clothes on, and they're still covered in ice. This is fun.
Time to continue the fun by looking outside and seeing what exciting things are out there.
And the outside world looks like this. It's white. How exciting. Got to pack up and carry on and get up to about 10,000 feet today. I'm at about 7,500 feet at the moment. And there is still the severe weather warning on for where I am, so it could get a bit gnarly, but I've got enough things to look after me.
Well, time to put on all my clothing that's full of ice and get outside. And once outside, I had a lot of snow to get rid of.
My luggage capacity reduced by snow now.
And the snow was already proving a problem for the trip, but it was also revealing a problem with filming it for you to watch.
Well, I suppose you can see something. Right, time for a chocolate bar, get the metabolism fired up.
And before you ask, yes, I did spend about $10,000 converting a Chinese mini Jeep to 4-wheel drive and a tank, but I still use a backpack with a broken zip. Priorities.
Oh, bag's full of snow because the zipper's broken. And a Milky Way, whatever that is.
Which was so frozen I nearly broke my teeth with every bite. For the moment though, it was only food because I hadn't yet melted any more snow to drink. But if I did have some water, I would have loved to have added today's video sponsor, Element. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that comes in convenient stick packs that you can add to water to help you stay hydrated without all the sugar and artificial colours found in popular electrolyte sports drinks. I drink Element after exercising to replenish my salts, but I also drink it when I'm recording voiceover during the summer and I'm sweating buckets because I've got to turn the air conditioning off so you don't hear it through the microphone. Like right now. And I have noticed it does actually work, and my focus for editing is a lot better when I'm properly hydrated. So get a free Element sample pack today with any purchase when you use my link drinkelement.com/C90adventures. The sample pack contains one of every flavour so you can try them all out, and if you try Element and don't like it, they'll even give you a full refund. That's drinkelement.com/C90adventures, or click the link in the description to get a free sample pack with any purchase. Back to the video.
So there's about a foot of snow since last night. There's camp, that's where I'm going.
Right, enough messing around, time to clear the snow off Willy, get eaten by my tent, pack up camp, and head off. So with camp packed up, it was time to head off in these lovely conditions. Or not.
The start button's frozen.
So if you will, imagine this is you, here, in this shot, and your vehicle doesn't start. Well, no one's coming to help me, so let's try the simplest method of fixing it. Fire.
Okay. Button works.
So while the GoPro warms up in my pocket, I'll start the other camera again and resume the adventure. And as I said before, this vehicle is basically untested and I'm in a pretty gnarly situation, so when it works, I'm quite happy about it really.
Yes! Oh fuck!
But there is going to be a theme here. While I might be happy, my cameras definitely weren't.
I'm really sorry, but this snow is absolutely brutal on my camera equipment, so I'm going to have to stick to mainly GoPros today, because this Sony mirrorless is going to be very unhappy about this.
Well, with that, time to head off up the mountain. Just got to turn left. Just got to turn left. Just got to use both hands on one brake lever and turn left. But eventually, I managed to turn left, and that meant that everything was fine, and there was no way this was going to affect me later on. Foreshadowing. And at the moment, there's not much else to report, really. I just carried on up the mountain, turned left a bit, and yeah, just carried on. Eventually, I drank all my water, so I stopped to fill up my water bottle with snow to melt it next to the engine. And with my water bottle full, I carried on for a few more miles, but it wasn't long until...
Pretty big problem now. The left brake has gone basically completely spongy. Right, I'm in the shit. I've completely lost the left brake, which means I can't turn left. This snowstorm is getting worse and it's going to be here to stay. I could reroute the brake line so it goes from the left brake lever to the left foot pedal, but bleeding brakes in these conditions, there's so much snow blowing around, I'm going to get ice in the lines, that's going to jam it up, and then I'm going to be in the same position except now I've got water stuck in the lines. I can't feel my hand anymore because I'm holding this camera. So I'm just going to try and get the mini Jeep a little bit more off the trails so that a snowmobile can fit past easily. I'm going to set up camp and I'm just going to stay here for a day or two until this storm passes. I can't film anything because all the batteries are dying. Why'd you do this to yourself, Ed? Why?
Why? Why? Why?
Save the fuel, set up camp, and get ready to go to bed at about 1 PM. Bollocks!
The snow let up briefly, but it looked like it was about to hit hard, so I quickly put up my tent while simultaneously listening to some music in my helmet, dancing to keep warm, and auditioning for the next Thunderbirds movie. Putting up the tent went smoothly, and once up, I thought about ways to lift my spirits.
I wonder if I can make myself some coffee. Today's task, I'm going to try and make myself some hot coffee. Maybe put a fire here and that might cheer me up a bit more. Some hot food as well. Yeah, that'll be good. I had a nap for about 2 hours and was hoping that I'd wake up warm, and I haven't. I don't know if it's just the psychological thing of getting like 5 miles in and then having it break, but yeah, I'm not feeling too good. I'm going to try and... It's still snowing outside and blowing a storm. I'm gonna try and make myself that hot tin of chili or something to get the 20th of the way and then have this break is not particularly inspiring.
Well, when I was making camp, I decided to collect some sticks so that if I wanted to make a fire, I could. And as the snowstorm was still happening outside, I decided to make the fire inside my tent. I'm clever.
Fuck me, this is smoky.
But once the fire had caught, I unzipped the door of the tent to let the smoke and carbon monoxide outside and kept things completely safe, as I cooked on an open fire inside my extremely flammable tent that was my only shelter. And things may look slapdash and dangerous, but I am actually taking survival very seriously.
Fuck me, it's boiling. Boner achieved. Oh, this is going to be so good.
So things were starting to look up, and I was even managing to film it for you, which makes sense because I am a professional filmmaker now.
So I'm melting the GoPro. Whoops. That's got to be hot enough to eat now. Right, I put the ashes outside, and now I'm going to eat my chili before it freezes. This doesn't look enjoyable. I can't grip it, all the fingers are frozen. The heat from the chili should melt it. Yes, I forgot to buy a spoon when I was in the previous town. Oh, that's so good. Note to self, make enough space to bring a petrol stove next time. Idiot.
Well, that was a fun activity done. Back to sleep and hope that the storm passes.
4 hours down, another 12 to go or so. I don't really want to drink water, but I've got to, and there's ice floating around in it. And at some point I'm going to need a poo, and I'm really not looking forward to that. I've got my wet wipes inside my sleeping bag so they warm up, because they're frozen solid, and top 10 things that I don't want to do, and it's rub a piece of ice on my bum hole. 95 more miles of this. I've done 5. I think I've got enough food. I'm burning through my chocolate bars quite quickly. Making the fire in here to cook up hot food is just a bad idea. And I miss coffee. But I think the storm's passing. Got about an hour of daylight, and then in the morning, hopefully the weather's good enough. I can fix that brake line. I hope. If I can't fix it in the morning, I'm going to have to head the 5 miles I came back down to the start of the trail, give up on the snow conversion, build it better for next year. I hate giving up. Good morning.
Well, that's a lie.
The temperature is now approaching freezing, which now means that my body heat is starting to make things steam. It means that stuff's drying off. Plans now. I looked over the map yesterday, and apparently there is a snowmobiling hut in about 9.5 miles. I think it will have the facility to make a fire inside. I think it's the absolute tail end of the storm, which means I can now touch spanners and things and metal stuff without my hands freezing to it and ending up in trouble. Because for really fiddly stuff, I can't use gloves. Also, if I drop any one of these brake seals into the snow, I'm
in trouble.
I'm going to put on those frozen boots, those frozen trousers, fix that, see if I can carry on. It's 5 miles back to the trailhead, 9.5 miles to the snowmobile trail, and 23 miles to a road that crosses the snowmobile trail. And I'll evaluate what I'll do when I get there. I've lost one handheld brake lever. If I lose a second one, I'm out of brakes, and I'm then into the territory of having to jam logs or tools into the track each side in order to steer.
So after 24 hours inside my lovely cosy sleeping bag, it was time to get out and get moving.
It's so warm inside my sleeping bag.
but you don't make progress inside a sleeping bag. Oh, I smell bad. Oh, just got the general aroma of my crotch come out of that sleeping bag. That is an interesting smell for something that's alive to make. Is it snowing again? But eventually I managed to get dressed, went outside, and there was a pleasant surprise. Sun! The actual sun! Oh my god, I want more of that. I want all of that. That's amazing! How the bloody hell am I going to reconfigure brake lines with this monstrosity? I wonder if engine heat can thaw a lot of this out. Yes! Boner achieved! So, the brake line I'm going to use is in under here, and it's that foot pedal. And so hopefully I can get at it. Not touching the brake line this end. Because this has gone so catastrophically floppy. That's what she said. That isn't air in the lines, that is just a complete brake cylinder failure. So hopefully, if I reroute it, it works. After warming my hands on the exhaust, it was time to see if I could fix Willie. First I decided to quickly see if the problem was only that the brake lines were just somehow full of air. This meant bleeding them and getting brake fluid everywhere. And it's a good thing I wasn't doing this right above something really important. I'm pouring brake fluid into my food pot. Piss flaps. Let's put that somewhere I can get warm but not full of brake fluid. Moron. Luckily I was carrying a litre of brake fluid in case something like this happened. That's something. So will it fix it? Pressure! Brake pressure! Holy shit! Piss flaps. So despite getting brake fluid everywhere, it appeared I now had brakes. You have to pump it a lot, but it is there. Time for a test. Can I move? No. So unfortunately I couldn't move just yet because the gear lever was encased in ice. Luckily though, while I didn't bring a stove or a spoon, I did bring a hacksaw blade and a file. Priorities. And eventually I got rid of enough ice so the gear lever could move again, and it was time to see if I could turn. That was left. That's right. That works. We are really riding up on the powder now. Oh, we've got a pretty working gear change. Better than before my life turned catastrophe. Speaking is hard. Fixed it. Next question, where did the fluid go? Well, I don't know, so I ignored that problem. And then as the weather got worse, just stopped snowing. I packed up camp, cleaned out my muff pot and then started melting some snow on the exhaust to drink, before getting ready to continue on up the mountain, alone in a snowstorm, on the vehicle that had broken down within the first 5 miles. Well, gotta carry on. No choice. Spin you round. Here goes nothing. Progress was slow and the weather really wasn't looking good. And the tracks were making a bit of a strange clunking noise that I hadn't heard yesterday, but just gonna carry on. And there was a brief moment when the weather let up, and the snow on the ground was compacted enough for me to motor along at a decent speed on top of it. But as seems to be a theme on this journey, the good news didn't last for long. The snow turned soft, and then very deep, and it revealed a rather large design flaw with the track conversion. If I angle the camera down here, you can see that I'm actually pushing an enormous amount of snow in front of me. And as my camera lenses started freezing over, and the weather got worse, the amount of snow I was pushing in front of me became such a problem, I couldn't ignore it any longer. I have no idea if you can actually see this, but that's the size of the Mini Jeep, and the snow that we finished pushing in front of us is here. I put my glove there. There's a cone of snow that we're pushing. That far in front of us. This snow is so deep. When I'm walking, it's up to my knee. Penis. Just stop snowing! I checked over Willie to make sure there was no damage being done by pushing all this snow forwards, and luckily there wasn't. I'd just designed his tracks to be up too high, and he was pushing his belly through the snow like the world's worst snowplow. and I was ploughing a lot of snow, sometimes enough to stop me moving forwards. And initially, after backing up a bit, he could climb over these snow mounds he was making, which was pretty impressive. But with this relentless snowfall, eventually that wasn't possible anymore, and faced with the prospect of potentially being on a vehicle that couldn't travel forwards anymore, it was time to say one of the most serious British exclamations there is.
Oh dear.
But I'm not one to give up, so against my better judgment, I managed to get over it by hitting it faster. And then that stopped working, so I had to hit it even faster again. But as I climbed higher and higher, and the snow got deeper and deeper, eventually the mounds of snow I was making were just too big to get over. But like I said, I don't give up, so I tried something else. And it turned out that if I moved over a bit, I could use the mound of snow as a ramp for one track and make some progress forwards. But it was only a small amount of progress each time. I was now stuck in an endless loop of 5 steps forward and 1 step back. Go forwards, get stuck, reverse, turn, forwards, get stuck, reverse, turn, for hours. Progress was so slow that the sun was now starting to get low in the sky, and the temperature was plummeting too. I was now at 9,000 feet, and this was still the kind of progress I was making. And on the top of the next ridgeline, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, they did.
First time we got stuck in snow, and the tracks had just turning.
Willie was now totally beached, with both tracks just spinning either forwards or backwards on the spot.
This is not good.
And I'm sorry I don't have any footage of that. My tripod camera and one GoPro was totally dead, and the only way I could keep my other GoPro running was to keep it in my jacket to warm up and take it out every now and then to film. But Willie was stuck, it was -10, and I'd spent over an hour trying to dig this thing out. This was miserable.
I don't know how long this battery is going to last, so I've got to talk quick. I've just spent an hour digging Willie out.
As you can see, the batteries were doing about as well as I was, but eventually I dug Willie out of the snow and carried on. But I really wasn't enjoying myself anymore.
This sucks. I'm not having fun. If neither's this engine, I'm just going to keep on pushing.
So I just kept on pressing through this sheltered tree line, hoping that things wouldn't get any worse. But we all know where this was going. As I got up to 9,500 feet, the trees disappeared, the temperature dropped to -15, and visibility plummeted too. For 2 more hours this was my fate, looking into the distance to try and spot the next orange trail marker, and driving blindly towards it, while feeling like I was about to freeze to death. But after 2 hours of absolute misery, what looked like salvation appeared.
That better be fucking open.
Well, hello, thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. First off, yes, 3 months between the last video and this one is an unacceptable amount of time. I had some things come up in my personal life that I had to attend to, which would have already been a shame, but even more so because I've actually got a new editing technique that allows me to edit these a lot faster. And when I was editing, I was actually cranking it out at a fair old rate. And also, this video was an hour and a half long, but I had to split it into 2 45-minute videos because an hour and a half is too long for YouTube. And I know that some of you watch this on the toilet, and I didn't want to be responsible for you getting your legs amputated. So get a sofa. And anyway, if you want to help support future videos getting made, then there's my PayPal email address for donations in the description, or there's a link to my shop where you can buy awesome merchandise such as t-shirts and hoodies, such as what you saw in the video, complete with oil stains that happened in the video. And also, there's the Mini Jeep USB stick that contains the first season of the Mini Jeep series, and it contains all of them. High bit rate without adverts, better quality than YouTube. And there's also a link to my Patreon. And if you're watching this on Patreon and you're watching this early, you guys are awesome. You're the reason that I don't have to quit doing this and then go back to being an engineer on a ship. So yeah, you guys are incredible. And yeah, that is it. And thank you for watching. I'm sorry for the delay. I really have been working as hard as I can, and the next video is basically done. So I'm going to try and get that done before I go off on the next adventure. And the next adventure isn't on Willie. Somehow it's even more ridiculous, but I can't say yet. I've got to keep it a secret. So yes, thank you for watching, and buy some merch or something to stop me becoming homeless or an engineer. Boo. So, yeah. Cheers, guys. Bye.